I had started in college. It was a whole different idea. Then we were singing and playing bluegrass, but it was started basically as something fun to do. At that time, I was partying a lot, and it was like the thing to go to a bar and play a show, get free drinks, and play covers, and just kind of have a good time.
They were playing a show, and I basically just wanted to play drums for them because it was awesome. I just remember pumping my fist and raging pretty hard to some EP3. And I definitely wanted to be up on stage playing drums with him.
And eventually I found out he played drums, and asked him to replace my drummer at that time, Steve Holman, who was moving out to Colorado.
To me, it just seemed like something was missing. There was like something that I wanted to push for and kind of change, about EP3, about the sound or something like that.
The situation was really perfect. I had no really prior knowledge that, this band opening had happened really, but it was really just right place, right time. Ended up trying out at a show at the Beachland Ballroom up in Cleveland. When all was said and done, we decided to see what we could make happen.
And Dan Cox joined. He actually came up from Georgia to try out, lived in Ohio for a couple months, and then was like, hey man, there's nothing going on here.
Ohio really, really sucked for the music scene.
Dan kind of said, hey, I got a place for us to live for a little bit, till you can get some jobs, and the music scene down there is way, way different. And at that point, I had nothing holding me back, really. So I just decided to follow my dream and come to Atlanta.
We got some pretty interesting gigs at some local bars, and met the people who are now like some of our closest friends, and they had some pride in us, and even though those shows sucked, they saw the potential, Eventually, a club called Smith's Hole Bar gave us a chance to come in and play on a real sound system and do it upright, and all the fans we had made in Alpharetta came out, and we had a good turnout, got a good recording from the show, and kind of took off from there.
The goal that time was to be on the road as much as possible, play as many shows as possible. And the keyboard player decided he couldn't do it. He had things to take care of. So at that time, I had bought a MacBook Pro, and I let Dan use it. He downloaded Ableton, got started writing on, with synthesizers and loops. And he wrote a couple songs, and we started touring as a three-piece. And the biggest show we had as a three-piece, I'd have to say, was probably Tri-Numeral. And that's kind of what we did for the winter until we met Chuck.
We've been friends with him for, a couple years, and gigging with his other band, Bitch Please, that now I play with in the side project. Yeah, so we knew him pretty well. Played a show with his other band, Head Stash, and he ended up getting up with us on stage at the end of our show with EP3.
So it came out and probably played for 20 or 30 minutes, just all off the cuff, improv. And after the show, just straight up, I think Pat just went and asked him in front of his old band.
Basically, after that night, I told all the guys in Head Stash, I said, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm stealing Chuck from you.
2 months later, he packed up shop and moved to Atlanta.
Starting in 2010 here in January, we kind of had some things going. Dan was doing booking then, and he was doing an awesome job. He was pulling like 3 or 4 night runs, like once a month or like twice a month or something. And then it quickly turned into a game, I guess. It was like, can we play more shows than not play shows in the month? And that started happening.
Just the whole experience of being on the road, I've never done anything like that. The most we've ever done, I think maybe was like 2 weeks here and there, but we'd always stop back at home, do a pit stop, but it was pretty crazy basically being out for 3 months. We definitely got to come home here and there, but it was definitely crazy.
It's a lot of fun, being on the road and being able to share experiences with the people that you enjoy being around. It does get very strenuous, and certain things come up that cause, you know, certain problems. But, you know, you kind of live to get over it.
And even when we're pissed off at each other, you know, like no matter what, when we're on stage, we just kind of forget all the bullshit. And, you know, we're four dudes trying to play the best music you can play every night, you know. So, you know, not to say we don't have off nights sometimes, but, you know, it's not really about momentum as much as it is about just going out and, you know, pushing what you're proud of every night, you know. We're
going to go back into the studio, probably come out with a new EP with never heard tunes before. Leading into the spring, I would like to do another huge tour.
Definitely get on some bigger festivals this year, I hope. You know, we really tried to put in our time and do this huge 3-month tour. I think it went very well, and hopefully that'll get us on a lot bigger bills.
I think this will be our best year yet. Exposure, we're getting more and more exposure. Right, people are finding out about our music, and we're still, you know, keeping it, a lot of it in-house, you know, trying to push this thing on our own terms. So I got a good feeling about 2011, for sure.